Oh my God, what is going on? Here we go. All right, are we ready to do? Are we live now? Hey everybody, hi.
Live. 1 second.
Come on, engineer. Come on, engineer.
Something here. All right.
The doors of the Love Church are now open. Dear world, you name it, we cover it from the world of singles to the behind the scenes of the greatest movie ever filmed, called Marriage. We dig into everything from dating 101. Why won't they commit? It's complicated. I can't do it if it's the three of us. They're a good person, but I'm not attracted to them in that way. 2, they really didn't disclose who they were before I said I do. How do I do this if they can't keep a job? The bills are paid, but the bedroom is suffering. Did I marry you or did I marry your family because we only can take care of us? Let's open up our marriage. Why do I have to buy into your beard gang illusion? You could have told me you were down low and we could have remained friends and not married. And last but not least, did you marry me or your pastor? Have we gotten your attention yet? If so, tune in to Unique Perspectives Love Talk Radio, Thursday at 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, if you want to hear more of today's real issues in the world of love. The doors of the Love Church are now open.
All right. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Unique Perspectives Love Talk Radio. I'm your host, Charles Dixon, and I am here all the way live with my co-host, Mr. Adam Ford. How are you, sir?
What's up, fam? How y'all doing today? I'm good for a Thursday afternoon. Not too bad at all, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Doing okay.
Pretty good. So, really quick. Well, first, I've been well, and hello, everyone. I will say real quick. I'm gonna just do a real quick chronicles. Real quick.
We go.
So I went to. I wasn't even expecting much conversation today because I was kind of in a rush, right? So I was just trying to get in to get out. So we go to the barbershop and, we do our, hey, what's going on? How he asks how I'm doing and we go from there. So then he starts in on, still getting on my nerves. And I'm just like,
wow.
I'm like, all right. So I had to stop. I said, okay, listen, dude, since I've been coming to you, right? I said, which has not been that long as a new barber. Right. I said, I can, if I'm on the outside looking in, I can clearly say this guy, he loves this girl, right? Right. But I said, but if you want me to be honest with you, I said, when I go back and forth with you and we communicate, I hear more. I said, that when you look at your tally list of pros and cons, likes and dislikes, the dislikes and the cons outweigh the likes and the pros.
That's true.
I said, just me listening to you. Right. So I said, I'm not saying this to you for you to be proactive or do anything. I'm just putting it on your mind. I said, right, because when we call ourselves saying, if we boast and say that we love someone, right, then somewhere along the line, those cons and dislikes will exist, right? Yeah. But we have to be able to say, but there is a stronger reason on this side. Like in the courtroom, the lawyer has to be able to, he wants to know all of your truth because he doesn't want to be caught by surprise.
Right.
Or embarrassed on the stand. Right. But he comes prepared to fight for your pros, right? And your life.
Right.
So I'm saying that to say you want to be prepared. If you're going to remain in this theme, but yet let these cons and these dislikes go forward first, you're going to have to prepare your argument for the better. Yeah. Because right now, if I'm arguing with you, I'll tell you, I don't think this is healthy for you mentally because you seem to have more negative conversation about it more so than you have positive. So you got to be honest with that. And so, he takes I only say this from one side because I be wishing when she come up to the shop, I be wanting to say, can you come in for a minute so I can get both sides? I be wanting to get both sides, but I just leave it out. I take his side on it, but just listening to him, it's, he is always her, then her. And so and if I'm listening to what he's saying, he makes it seem like he takes a lot on the chin.
Wow.
Like there's a lot of things that he overlooks because he loves her. and he just takes it on the chin. Like I remember the time when the family went on the cruise, but the mom didn't want him to be invited, and the girl didn't fight for him. Right? She just went. Right? So that was that he took that pretty hard. I remember. Yeah. And then as of recent, you know, I think just the dialogue, that toxic thing between him and his mom, it just doesn't. I mean, her mom just doesn't go over well. And lastly, recently, within the past month, he's been talking about her coming into some money, right? She came into a little bit of some change or whatever.
Okay.
And he says she's, you know, I'm always supporting her. She wants to develop this lipstick line for her and her daughter or whatever. And I'm always supporting her. But he said, but I'm paying attention as to how he said, now I'm not doing anything for tits or tat or looking for something in return. But I do he said, but I have taken notice that she has not once threw nothing in my direction or asked if I needed anything.
Oh, wow.
I guess he was feeling like he knows it's her money, but he was just like saying, hey, we've been hustling and struggling this thing out, and I've been helping and doing everything, helping with your daughter, helping with her clothes, school stuff. And it's like, so when you come into this thing, he felt like she immediately went into the whole, I'm going to get my business going on. I'm going to get it going on. And he's just like, well, hold on. So what I thought was so unique was he had the presence of mind to say, he said, but Charles, make no mistake about it. He said, I'm not mad. It's her money. He said, it's teaching me something, but it's her money. So I'm not mad. But he said, but I'm watching how she handles herself through it. He said, I want to know what will she do with the money?
Right.
Because he said it's going to tell me exactly what I'm dealing with.
Yeah.
I said, but pay attention and then go from there. So I try to keep it short with him, you know, but every time he talks, I'll be like, dude, I don't know, man. Jesus.
So and again, this seems to be this seems to be the storyline that we are all watching right now.
Yeah.
So here's the thing though, right? You said about the pros and the cons in terms of, you know, measuring and weighing the viability of the relationship. And that's what you're supposed to do when you're in a relationship. You're supposed to weigh the pros and the cons in terms of who you're with. This is especially true before you get married to them or even make a serious commitment to them. You have to weigh the pros and the cons. But here's two things I want to bring to your attention. The first thing is, you can't keep ignoring the issues and the red flags that are obviously presenting themselves. Because when you do that, you're doing yourself and that other person in the relationship a massive disservice. Wow. They're going to think that they can do what they've been doing the way they've been doing it, and there's no problem with it because you don't address it. You won't bring it up. You won't talk about it. You avoid it. You're almost, to a very large degree, very much so acting very passive aggressive in terms of what this subject is, in terms of what we should be talking about and dealing with. If I allow myself to continue to ignore these things that are obviously right in my face, then I really don't have nobody else to blame but me.
True that.
And as much as I'm on his side, but the reality is, dude, this person that you have been dealing with up until this point in time has not really shown you her care for you. You know what I'm saying? In terms of how she is if I'm going to be in a relationship with somebody, I need them to demonstrate and show that they actually care for me. Yeah. I need them to say it and I need them to show it. But if you're not going to say it or show it, why am I still here? Why am I still hanging around? Why am I still allowing you to do what you do? Here's my other point. I'm going to shut up after this. All of us, and when we're in relationships, whether we are aware of it or not, or believe it or not, we have a lot of culpability and responsibility in the relationship as to how people treat us.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is, you're only going to treat me the way I allow you to treat me.
Correct.
You're only going to do to me what I allow you to do to me. So if I allow you to come into the house and you punch me in the stomach every single time you come into the house, and I don't say anything about you punching me in the stomach every single time you come into the house, then that's on me. Because I have not addressed that issue. I am actually enabling you to do that. I'm actually almost like co-signing on that. I'm not saying that that particular behavior is right. I'm not saying that it's supposed to be that way. But what I'm saying is this: you have some culpability in how people treat you, in terms of them continuing to do the same thing to you over and over again because you won't say anything. You are literally creating this monster.
Yeah.
You are creating this monster because you won't address the issue. You continue to allow this thing to go on. So here's the thing, Charles. She's not going to give him nothing in terms of money. Up until this point in time, she has not shown any type of concern for her man. So supposedly, quote unquote, her man.
From his side of it.
From his side of it. She ain't going to do it. Because her past behavior has dictated that she don't care about him like that.
Wow.
She takes, she doesn't give. But let's be honest, she has not given anything up until this point in time. So why should he expect her to give now? Why? Why should you expect your partner to do something different? You haven't challenged them on it. You haven't confronted them on it. You haven't said, hey, we need to talk about this particular thing that's not making me happy right now so that we can get this thing resolved so we can move forward. You haven't done anything, any of that. So why do you expect different behavior?
And so basically, it's almost like he's waiting for a return from a bank account that has a negative balance.
It ain't nothing in that bank account.
There's nothing coming out. Yeah.
Look, that bank account been hit with so many insufficient fund fees.
Wow.
He is like, you might as well just close that junk. And here's the thing though, after a while, a bank will close that account.
Wow.
Because you're in the negative now. You
can't have it for so long. You're right. The bank will close it eventually.
They're gonna close it. He's in the negative. He's in the negative. Now, who's going to close the account? Is he going to close the account?
Yeah.
Or is he going to let her close the account?
Wow.
Because she hasn't. Again, and I need y'all to be honest with me. Let's be honest let's be real. If I continue to allow you to treat me a certain way, at some point I got to say I'm responsible because I never dealt with the reality of you treating me the way they're treating me. You should not be treating me this way.
Yeah.
I should not be feeling this way in this relationship. But because I've allowed this to continue to go on, come on.
Carries on. You ever notice how, as you're talking, I'm thinking about this analogy. You ever notice how you go in, let's just say you have a friend or someone close to you, or even a family member, you go into that house and let's just say, yes, it's warm outside, right? But when you come in their house, it's almost ice cold. It's not cool. It's not on 69. They have it on 55. And you like, you come in there, you just be like, now, I know it's hot outside, but it's Antarctica in here. So you're faced with the choice. The more you come to this resident and you know how the person likes to keep their thermometer. If you don't complain, your only options is to be quiet or you're going to suffer from those temperatures that you're not comfortable with.
That's right.
It's the same with heat. So in relationships, when we come into situations and we realize, hey, I know they're grown and I'm grown, but I don't think I like this temperature. It's up to you to at least have the conversation to see if you can reach a middle point. Do you mind if we put this to 67? It's just a little real cold for me. And that conversation will let you know if you're with the person that's flexible enough with you in a relationship. And if not, you get ready for that one-sided ride.
I'm doing it like this. I'm going straight down the middle. And I think from us, in terms of us having this conversation, I think we can be objective enough to say this. 50% of this is on her. 50% of it is on him.
That's it.
That's it. Because the reality is he's allowing it to continue. and she's still doing it.
She's still going. That's it. So somebody he likes. There's an element of it that he's not being honest that he likes about it.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't be there.
He's got a responsibility in this. Listen. In my relationship with my wife, we're both responsible.
Yeah.
Both of us are responsible in terms of I'm responsible for how I treat her, and she's responsible for how she treats me. And if something ain't right between the two of us, we are the ones that have to come and talk about whatever the issue is.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And deal with it for what it actually is. Why would I'm not going to sit here and continue to allow you to do what you do to me and it be okay. And this is the thing that he's doing. He's not even willing to address the issue. Yeah. I'm not saying, listen, everybody, listen. I'm not saying all of the blame is on her. No, all of the blame is not on her. Like I said, 50% is on her, 50% is on him.
Yeah.
At some point in time, when are we going to finally get it together? When are we finally going to sit down and have an honest conversation about what's really wrong with us? And is there even a viable future for us? Should we continue in this way, the way that we've been doing it? Or should we part and go on our separate ways?
Wow.
I for one, hey, let me tell you, I for one, life is too short, y'all. Y'all need to understand this. Life is too short. Then there's sunshine and there's rain. Come on, somebody.
Yeah.
And at some point we gotta figure out, okay, what we gonna do about this? How we gonna make this even? How we gonna make this work? You know what I'm saying?
Okay, well, this is the perfect segue. On that note, today's topic is how to handle a breakup when a breakup breaks you. Now, just a disclaimer, this is one of Mr. Adam Ford's productions.
You don't have to say that. They didn't know.
Okay.
So why did you do that, bro?
We're gonna handle it accordingly. I'm just giving letting the man have his contributions, So we're gonna go there from there. All right. So you want to do the reading? I attempted. You threw the shot up there, and I attempted to add my 2 cents to try to get in your head to where you were trying to go with it.
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah. We're gonna talk about everything. Yeah, we're gonna talk about getting up and over and under. Okay. All right. How to handle a breakup when a breakup breaks you. The feeling of pain hits differently when it comes to the distinct infliction of a wound and the agony of a break. While a wound can certainly affect you, a break can potentially stop you and cause you to sit out its entire recovery period. When we compare the same concept to that of a committed relationship, marriage, and yes, even a situationship, the effect of a severe hurt experience can often leave one in a maimed position. There's no feeling like having both your emotions and mentality totally neutralized by a breakup. There are many reasons why breaks take place within a breakup that extends the tenure of our pain. For example, regret, strong emotional attachments, fear of loneliness, low self-esteem, feeling undeserving of love, and then there's the uncertainty about the future of the post-breakup. Believe it or not, loving while hurt is very much a real thing. We teach, preach, and evangelize healing, but very few of us live to outlive the hurt we've experienced in life and love. What happens is that we learn to live with the ailments of the heart. These same pains, if you will, have shaped us into different people, which in some cases have shaped us for the better. However, make no mistake about it, the pain can change you.
Yes. All right. Tonight.
Yeah.
So, all right. The pain, when I was writing that part of it, Adam, I ended off specifically when I said at the end of the day, yes, sometimes the adversity that comes through a relationship, I don't want to just necessarily say a bad relationship, but a relationship that did not go to full fruition.
Yeah.
Sometimes every ending is not a bad ending, right?
True. That's true.
But there is a change occurring, right? Yeah. Whether it's for the good or bad, something about that situation changes you to never be the same again, right? And so I'll just jump out there first. When I think about when you first came up with this topic, when I looked at it, I said, man, how do we handle a breakup when the breakup breaks you? And the first thing came to my mind is when you're broken, that means you're somewhere immobilized, you're somewhere sitting down, laying down, right? You going through it. So you're not able to, that break part was significant because in this culture, it is preached to everybody, not necessarily from the pulpit, just in life. That when somebody do something to you hurt, oh, it's okay. Go on back out there. It's all these people. Somebody is over there, over here. You'll be fine. And what we do is we move around in pain. But when a breakup breaks someone, people can tell you all day, somebody over there, somebody over here. Some of us have been in scenarios where that hurt. It just kind of disconnected your brain. You didn't care if somebody was in your ear, your DM. You just wasn't feeling it because emotionally you couldn't do anything about it.
Right.
And you just was like, I know they over there, but right now I got to go in seclusion. Right? I really need to go under sedation for a bit because this right here took a bit out of me. You know.
Yeah. So I think one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about breakups in terms of how we deal with them and how they have an effect on us is because of the fact that I think a lot of us, you know, and we've said this in previous shows, a lot of us jump into relationships almost immediately after a breakup and really haven't taken out the time post breakup to really deal with the breakup. It's almost as if we think that if we can just get somebody else, we can use them as a band-aid, if you will, to cover up whatever hurt, to almost use some type of a human anesthesia, if you will, to numb the pain. And the way I numb the pain is by getting with somebody else, connecting to somebody else, while I am neglecting and ignoring the fact that I am broken. Okay. And here's the thing that we don't really want to talk about, but we are going to talk about it because we need to face the truth, is the fact that that breakup broke our hearts.
Yeah.
It broke our hearts.
Yeah.
And it's because of the fact that we felt the way that we felt with the person that we were with, and that they were significant to us. We have a broken heart. Because if I did not love you, then I would not be broken the way that I'm broken. I wouldn't. But because I did love you, and for whatever reasons we did not work out, I'm broken and I have a broken heart. And so it's as a result of the breakup that I am broken. And I would even venture to say that I don't think it's possible to go through. I mean, you probably can go through a breakup without breaking, but if that person really meant something to you,
you're gonna feel a way.
Oh, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna feel that. That's gonna hit a little differently on you. That's gonna make you, you're gonna feel that. You're gonna be, ooh, you know how when you hurt something and you go through something like, I don't know if you break a rib or you break a leg, and because if you move a certain way, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that little nerve twitch.
Yes.
But you ever think about, so let's think about puzzles. Like, you know how I don't see a lot of puzzles like we used to see back in the day. You would go to people's houses, you saw puzzle boxes and different sizes.
Yeah.
So this is what came to mind. A lot of people that kind of like, you know, a lot of us have that perfectionist concept about us, right? And so if you're a perfectionist and if you're a person that's into puzzles, once you complete it and you actually do it, you're like, oh, yes, I put my brain into it and now it's done. But the thing that irritates you, that I'm going to compare this to the relationship part of it, is let's just say somebody misplaced one of your key pieces. So now you got this whole puzzle that looks good, but that one piece is the eyesore because it's not there no more. So in the relationship, you can be intact and have your faculties and everything, but because that relationship didn't work, and because that perfectionist in you said, how could you walk away? You and I are best when you are here with me. So when you are gone, this now has me in a way. Now I'm uncomfortable.
Right.
This isn't right. I don't even know if I can go on. Like many of us have said over time, I don't know if I want to go on. Or unfortunately, even people who take it a step further. You get my drift. You know what I'm saying? And so this thing gets really deep. And so when I often think about this, I used to always think about car accidents. And when I would hear about different things, about people getting into really bad and tragic car accidents, and I used to always say, I wonder if it felt any different if you saw it coming versus the blind side. See, the blind side to me, you see, it's like when you blindsided, it obliterates you because you're not prepared. Your posture is not at least trying to hold on to the door. You kind of duck down, lay down. You're just caught off guard, like many marriages and relationships often are when they discover that partner. Forget about whether somebody cheated, but when you discover they're ready to walk away from you, it catches you off guard. But if you can look down, if I'm sitting here, I'm on the train track and my car is stalled, I'm like, oh my God, what do I need to do? Get my seatbelt off. I need to jump out of here before this thing reaches me. Right. Like most of us do. When we see that train coming, our car is stuck on the thing. The first thing we do, let me take my thing off and get me a new dating profile. Let me get my bag, let me get my bills in order. Let me make sure my credit card is off out of their name. I'm going to prepare before that train gets to me. Right? And the contact of it, it's going to hurt. But you say to yourself, I at least saw it coming.
Right.
So I love them and I saw it coming. But now I need to prepare myself to move around while I'm here. And so we just need to, I think if we teeter on that part between the blind side and the actual you saw it, we can kind of find something in there.
That's an interesting way to put that because, so I guess you can categorize it, I guess, in at least those two categories. For the blind side to be something that you weren't not expecting. I was not expecting this. I did not see this coming. And here's the thing, though. So you were thinking that everything was okay.
Yeah.
You were thinking that everything was good to go.
Yeah.
Everything was fine until it wasn't. Until he said, I'm not good with this anymore. You know what I'm saying? And out of the blue, bam, here we are. You know what I'm saying? This is the end. You know what I'm saying? But I never saw it. And so it makes me, so here's the thing. Are we actually, and this is the thing that you have to really consider when you're talking about relationships, you're talking about breakups. Are you actually tapped in to your relationship? Are you actually engaged enough? Because here's the thing. If I'm tapped in, then I'm going to be on the other side. I'm going to be in that other category, Charles. I'm going to see it coming. But if I have my blinders on and I'm walking around oblivious to the signs that are around me, that everything in this relationship is not good, then it's going to blindside me. It's going to catch me off guard because I'm not paying attention. But if I'm tapped into the relationship, I see it coming. Now, the question is, when I see it coming, do I do something about it? Or do I pack my bags, like you said, and get ready to roll?
Yeah. And here's the thing. Most of the time, when this is going on and, when we're in these scenarios where, the relationship is experiencing some tumultuous turns and things like that, it is important to just be real with yourself and understand this. If somebody is practicing actions outside of your commitment, your marriage, or whatever, right? You can't do anything about a grown person that wants to move around, right? And let's just be honest. When people want to be slick, they can be slick. And they can be doing a whole lot of different things, not just quote unquote infidelity, but all sorts of things that goes against the relationship. But because I thought about this when you said, what are you going to do when you actually see it coming?
Right.
Most of us can't follow a person as much of us. We try to do all these tracking things to bust somebody out and find out, and you come up empty. People are slick, right? But The one thing, if I would tell anybody, if you really want to be keen to see what's going on and be able to see that train coming down the track, you got to be able to watch a person's emotions.
Okay.
Emotions can't lie.
Okay.
I don't care how slick a person is. When they are deceiving you, it's impossible for you to feel that genuine connection because something is in the middle of it.
Right.
People don't want to look you in the eye. Yeah. They don't want to be genuine. The things, the things people used to do, those little small pleasantries or little things that made you feel like this person loved me, they slowly dissipate.
Yeah.
And I think we break it down to, but they ain't left. They still come home to sleep. That's just a shell lifestyle.
Right.
And that is a practice in waiting. Most people that always leave, I can say this for men, I'm not a woman, but most people that leave, they already have scenarios built somewhere else. Yeah. That's why when marriage is in, when relationship, let's just say, I've heard people say, how this person going to get engaged 6 months after we broke up? That's because 18 months ago, they were in love. Hello. That's how. It didn't just show up today. They were dealing with each other behind your back 18 months ago. Yeah. They were trying to talk about how to do away with you. Yeah. And once they did away with you, now we can go about our married life. Right. And so people will do that in a heartbeat. And so that's why I said, out in crime, they'll tell you, let's follow the money. Mm-hmm. And that's how we'll catch the criminal. Right. In love, you better follow the emotion. Wow. And that's how you uncover the person that's unfaithful. Okay. Follow the emotion. People can tell you, I don't listen to what nobody say. What? I have learned you better follow the emotion. Okay. People will tell you all day long, I'm in love. Yes, I love the men will say, let me tell you something. Do you think I actually will go over there? I love you. And got a condom right in his pocket. Negroes are crazy. So my point is, I'm telling you, people, we got so many, and the mental illness of it all is we lie to ourselves that we are not this person. Yeah. And we are straight up doing it, right? In plain sight. Yeah. And so the thing is, when it comes to this kind of thing, man, this whole break you down and tear you up, that thing is, listen, I remember, Adam, you was asking me some good questions before the show started.
I'm about to get back to it, but go ahead. We're about to do that.
I'm thinking, I had to think about a blind side because you asked me about times where I might have felt broken. Was I ever in a situation where I felt broken?
Yeah.
Definitely, I can say I have done some broken for sure. I've done some breaking. But I've been broken myself. Now, I haven't always did all the breaking up. I've been broken up with and left, whatever. Not too many times, but no. But anyway, I've been broken. But I can remember one specific time. I kept thinking, was I ever blindsided in the relationship was over? I remember the one specific time. And I brought this up on the show before where I was dating the girl probably back in 2007-ish, 8 maybe. And 6. We went from there. But anyway, I remember this particular person, we had fought through some really tough times. And we actually had moved from one particular area I was living in back to the DC area at that time. We thought that was a smart move to fix it.
Right.
We moved, helped the lady get on her. She had a good career already, but I helped her connect with her career where we were. She found a good job, fine. We were moving along. So I'm thinking everything was everything. Now, I have to be honest and say, before I finish this story, that I have learned that you got to tell the whole story, right?
The whole story. Tell the whole story, bro. Yeah.
So I haven't been perfect in it. She wasn't perfect in it. And on top of that, we had suffered a mutual loss together. I'll get to that. But the point is, nonetheless, when we were back in the DC area, I'm thinking, okay, she agreed. Because my thought process, she wasn't from DC. I was. She was from like Elkton, Maryland, Delaware, whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking at this time, if you're going to move, you're moving to get in the ring. Because I wouldn't move if I wasn't sure I wanted to be somewhere. I'm gonna stay in my hometown. But she agreed to move. I didn't twist her hand. She wanted to go. So we moved there. We living together. We going on shacking, aka we living life. All right, fine. Then, Adam, I began to see those small things. Now, I knew she was too slick to even consider thinking I was going to be Private Ryan. I wasn't even going down that lane. But what I did pay attention to was the subtleties, meaning in the morning time when I'm like, she went to work way earlier than me. So you get up later, but because she was up and moving around, it would often wake me up when she was up and moving around. I remember them subtle times of seeing her. All this, she was extra. It wasn't the same. It was extra too. The way she was going to work, and then even the way she was putting on her undergarments. It was the kind of them, and I was like, "Now, what are you wearing this to work for?" In my mind, nobody's going to see this but me and you. So you got to wear this particular thing today. You understand what I'm saying? Right. So I would just be like, So to make a long story short, we going through these motions, and I would see these things, and because she kept coming home, that was my battle because I saw them, but she was showing up. So it was kind of hard for me to fight my justification, right? But I saw it. So then I remember us saying, let's get this other house or whatever. So we were going to move. And this is where the blind side comes. We're going to move, Adam.
Yeah.
And I remember I made all these plans and, I'm buying this. And she was like, okay, all right.
Right.
All of this.
Yeah.
On the day we moved, we were slated to move.
Okay.
She was acting a little weird that morning, but I couldn't put my finger on it.
Right.
I remember her mom called, and which was not. I had a good relationship with her mother, but this part was out of the ordinary. It was early in the morning, and we were getting prepared to quote unquote get ready for the movers. And she was like, my mom wants to talk to you for a minute. I was like, for what? We don't talk on the phone. Okay, fine. The mom gets on the phone. Hi, son. How are you? I'm sitting there like, what is this? Like, you about to move, right? I don't have time for this. What's going on? Right. I want time for that. So, all right, so fine. So while I'm talking to her, though, the phone clicks. Back in the day when the phone beeps. Right. I look at the phone and I see it was her phone, the girl's phone.
Okay.
And I looked at the phone and it said this guy's name.
Oh.
Mind you, this is 8-something in the morning. So basically, if there was an ongoing conversation, this would have been gone when she's out the house. This would have been going on when she's gone. Right. So
she on the way to work. Got it.
I said the name, and so I'm just like, So then I didn't say nothing. I gave the phone. I said, your phone is ringing because I wanted her to acknowledge it. I said, your phone is ringing. And here she goes, hold on, Mom. And here she go, hello? Oh, yes. So you said the truck is going to, you said, she tried to act like it was business. Now, mind you, I heard the guys, I heard them talking. Because look, these phones nowadays are more quieter, but them old school LG phones,
they were loud.
They was loud.
They was loud.
I remember the person on the phone saying, "Oh, so how is it coming? So you still going?" He said, "This is what he said. How is it coming? Are you still on track?"
Wow.
That's exactly what he said. So I didn't say nothing. I was quiet. She got the phone with her mom, and I just looked at her. I said, "So what's going on? Who is this person?" And so she's like, what do you mean? You know how we get guilty. We don't want to discuss it. Right. So she's like, who's this person? So she goes in talking about the person, and it's just a friend, and so on, so on, so on. So I said, so is this a friend, or a friend with special sauce friend? I mean,
special sauce.
I said, look, we don't have to play this game, right? So here she goes. She breaks down crying, all this stuff. And I said, so what did he mean by are you on track?
Right.
She says, because I'm moving separately from you.
Wow.
Her and I had planned to move together.
Yeah.
She said, I'm moving separately. And I said, You talk about, listen, that train, I was sitting on the track already eating a hot dog, but I didn't see the train because the train said, dude, listen, it hit me so off guard when it was over with. Like it was so deep that she literally, when we had that discussion, I said, so I just really quietly said, so I'm prepared for us to move into this other house.
Right.
And you're moving into an apartment. And she says, yeah. I said, all right. She went downstairs. This part was mean right here, Adam. I didn't care. This part was probably mean.
Well, this one, you ain't had nothing to lose. So
she went and she drove her car and she came back like 25 minutes later with a U-Haul van. Right. But she didn't have as much stuff as I did. Whatever.
Right.
So she comes back, and at the time it was like this big 3-level townhome. She came up in there, and when she was coming back up in there, she was like, could you like help me with these boxes or whatever? And I looked at her. I'm sure my face says it all at him. So mind you, she up and down the steps. Look at she go. Oh. You knock yourself out, sweetie, because I ain't touching the box.
You should have told her to call her dude back. Call your dude back to come help you.
Move and let him come move you, because I ain't doing it. Right. To make a long story short, so she moved her little stuff downstairs, and but dude, listen, I ain't even gonna lie. Even though the train blindsided me and said smack, and I was like, oh, listen. When she had that last box in her hand, she said, all right, I'm about to leave. You take care. I said, I just still ain't say nothing. Dude, that's when I was probably on the tracks. You know, when they see if you're still alive, I was like, dude, I promise you, if I ever had a blindsided moment, it was that one.
Wow.
Oh, messed me up good, because I wasn't expecting it. And when it happened, I said, oh. So I can be honest. You asked the second question.
Yeah.
You said, what did you do afterwards?
Yeah, what did you do afterward to recover?
Now, for a minute, I ain't gonna lie, I didn't do no moving around because I was broken.
You was broken.
It messed me up because I wasn't expecting it.
Right.
And look, the thing that added insult to injury. Okay, me and this person back in December of 2006, we had a daughter that died in 2 days.
Oh my God.
Yes. In 2019, she was born. She died in 2000. I'm sorry. December 19, 2006.
2000. Okay.
She died December 21st, 2006.
Oh my God.
And so it was a rare thing, you know. She had the baby real soon. She had the baby like at the 7-month mark.
Okay.
Yeah, 7-month mark. And so that already had gave us a real crazy situation.
Yeah.
It already wasn't perfect, but when that happened, it made stuff crazy.
Yeah.
And so after that whole ordeal and the baby, and then so I said, let's just move. Let's try to fix this and get a different environment. Right. So you figured that on top of all that. I was out of commission for a minute, right? For a minute. But when I came to my senses, I looked at the road. I had a choice. There is the road where you can walk and go straight. Yeah. And there are the steps that you can go underground and go subterranean. I chose subterranean. That meant it was trimmers everywhere. I didn't care about nothing and no one for a good season. Wow. That's probably where I made a lot of folly and mistakes. But I promise you, it was just really bad. Yeah. And so, to make a long story short, what I had came out of that whole thing and what I had promised to myself to take away from all of that was I was share this with everybody else. Number one, when it comes to being broken in a relationship, get an understanding of what's happening when it comes to the awakening of what's going on. Right. Number two, what about the relationship didn't happen? What didn't happen? And that's where you'll find your answers as to where the breakdown probably occurred. Right. Then what probably will never happen? And you got to tell yourself that, because a lot of times we hang around, Adam, because we think something will be better if we fight longer.
Right.
And we're in denial a lot, and we don't come to the reality that this may not happen.
Mm-hmm.
It may not happen the way you think. Okay. It's already a break. So you hanging on to this broken fence is not going to do nothing but put stitches in your hand. Yeah, right. Yeah. So the point is, we need to learn how to let go when we need to let go. And so, like I said, those three things: get an understanding of what's happening, what didn't happen, and then what probably will never happen, and be well with all of it. Yeah, you gotta, that be well part is key, because that means don't try to fight someone's decision to leave you.
Yeah.
Because 9 times out of 10, they've already left you before the train wreck.
Right.
The train wreck is the evidence. Yeah. They've already left you. So trying to fight somebody who wants to leave, don't fight them. And I'm going to tell you the signs. When it starts to get real, like there's arguments that we have and disagreements that people have that are typical relationship misunderstandings.
Yeah.
When those arguments begin to escalate to a point where they cause you to take a pause and be like, I didn't like how that went. You didn't like how it went because it had a little more extra sauce on the end of it. It wasn't normal sauce. When that extra sauce is coming, it's an extra something going on.
Right.
It may not be a person, but it could be a thought. Somebody is thinking of leaving you, or thinking this is not working, or starting to no longer believe that this is what they signed up for. And so, which is everybody's right. But include me in the process.
Right.
Don't make life-changing decisions if I'm involved in this life event without my knowledge. Right? At least give me the respect of telling me that you feel this isn't a certain thing. And then you move accordingly. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
No, that was good, man. That was really, really good. Wow. that story, that was really transparent for you, man. I appreciate your transparency and you willing to be able to share that on a public platform, man. That speaks a lot to, the fact that, it happens to everybody, regardless of who you are. And I think one of the things that we need to kind of pay attention to, whether or not if you're blindsided or you see it coming, the result is the same. And that is the trauma that you experience as a result of the breakup, you know? And it's interesting because whenever you think about, if you've ever been in a car accident, whether you was hit from the front or the back or the side, often what happens is your body absorbs the impact of that hit. Again, whether it's the front, the back, or the side, your body it absorbs it. It absorbs that impact. And what often happens is you don't necessarily feel it in the moment. You get out the car, you feel okay, you know what I'm saying? Not unless it's a real bad accident or whatever like that. But it's not until the day after that accident that you feel the weight and the gravity of that accident.
Impact of what happened.
You feel the impact of that accident. And you wake up in the morning, your back, you can't get out the bed because your back is out of whack now because of the impact of that accident. You can't walk because your legs have been absorbed the impact of that accident. And we need to recognize and realize that when breakups happen, we absorb the impact of that trauma.
For sure.
We absorb it in our emotions. We absorb it mentally. We absorb it physically. So there is trauma that happens when there is a breakup. You know what I'm saying? And we need to be able to recognize that. And I think that helps us to realize that in the breakup, there is breaking that happens to me. You know what I'm saying? And I go through stuff and I'm experiencing stuff. The problem is, the problem is the fact that many of us do not want to recognize that we have experienced trauma as a result of a breakup. So we're walking around with jack legs, messed up backs, broke up arms, contusions, concussions. We're walking around with subdermal hematomas in our head emotionally.
Internal bleeding.
Internal bleeding. We have suffered the trauma of the breakup, but we have not addressed our trauma. We're walking around with our trauma, trying to find somebody else to help alleviate our trauma, but we have not addressed our trauma in a way that helps to heal it and to relieve it. This is the reason why when we step into relationships, often instead of being in a relationship, Charles, we end up in situationships.
Yeah.
It's complicated.
Because we think they're safe. We think they're safe.
Right. And we're only in situationships because we're scared of it happening to us again. So we figured if we keep it at a distance, then if something were to go down, it's far enough away from us where we don't have to absorb the impact of it all.
That's good. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, people of the court, I need to submit to you on tonight that we need to address our trauma, emotional trauma. You did go through something. Let's not act like it did not happen. I know, I've had breakups and I had to really realize, okay, it happened. I didn't want it to happen, but it happened. And as a result of it happening, now I got to deal with this thing in me. And here's the thing about the trauma, though, that is emotional and mental. It's not something that you can actually put a Band-Aid on.
Yeah.
You can't physically touch this thing. It would be different if it was a broken arm. You could reset it. If it was bleeding,
you could spray something on it.
Right, you could spray something. You could put some ambofonique on it or some type of medicine. You remember ambofonique from back in the day?
Mercurochrome.
Yeah. You could put something on it, but because it's emotional or because it's mental, you can't put your hands on it. And so you need to be able to have mechanisms and devices that allow you to address your trauma so you can alleviate. Listen, if you don't deal with the pressure of the trauma, it's going to kill you.
You're right.
And here's the thing that we really need to recognize is that from this emotional and mental trauma, it often manifests itself physically. You went through a breakup. And now you got some emotional and mental trauma that you refuse to deal with. As a result of your refusing to deal with the trauma, it's showing up in your body in a physical manifestation.
Wow.
You got to deal with this, man. You cannot step in, but you do step into relationships. Watch this. You step into relationship still carrying the trauma.
Yeah.
As a result of the trauma, now you're a toxic person.
Yeah.
As a result of the trauma, you're bleeding over everybody else that you meet.
Yeah.
Because you want to address the trauma that's there. Ladies and gentlemen, again, we got to deal with this trauma for real. As you know, again, breakups are going to happen. They're going to happen in whatever relationship that you might be in. But you don't have to stay there. That's what my point in bringing this up. You don't have to stay traumatized. You don't have to stay damaged. You don't have to stay injured. You don't have to remain bleeding out. Because after a while, Charles, if you bleed out enough, you'll die.
Man, I'm telling you. And this stuff, like I said, you ever seen those kind of accidents, or let's just say when someone has passed away, and a lot of times when the police comes back to tell the family, they'll say, the person will be like, well, who is that? When they'll say, well, we don't want you to see it because the person is unrecognizable.
Right. Yeah.
This is what hurt. This is what trauma and breakup hurt does to your loved ones, to your friends, to your family members. They become someone that's not recognizable because you're saying to yourself, wait a minute, that person did what to you?
Yeah.
And you dealt with it?
Yeah.
And it can sound judgmental, but the people love us, right? Yeah. That's why they say it. But to the person that is dealing with the hurt, you're like, look, you don't know the situation like I know the situation. That's why I'm still here. I'm calling myself trying to be here or whatever. Yeah. But the bottom line is, man, when this stuff happens, it changes you forever. And you don't even think about it, how your life. Listen, I can just say this for myself.
Yeah.
All right, Bruce, you got my back, Bruce. Anyway, so listen, for years, I've done what I wanted to do, escaped what I wanted to escape, get around, get under, slipped and slid what I wanted to get away with.
Right.
Nonetheless, at the end of the day, I still wasn't able to avoid certain hurts.
Right.
I still was in certain relationships where I thought I made the right choice with the certain one, however I was dealing with them, and still felt something from the break. Right. And the point I'm saying is, those significant breaks that I had experienced from one to another, what I blindly didn't realize was they ultimately did affect the way I loved going forward.
Yeah.
Or lack thereof.
Yeah.
Or got married or lack thereof.
Yeah.
Right? It all played a part.
And
so I joke and say it funny, but to me, it is a perfect example of the player getting played.
Wow.
Because you play yourself. Forget about getting cheated on. You play yourself because you outdo who you were supposed to be.
Yeah.
Now, and God still is working with you. He still has grace to get you together and get you where you need to be with the person you need to be connected or married to. But there is a process that happens in between there that when I look back over those instances, I say, man, that all I see is a candle lit trail, but the fires are still burning. None of them are blown out. They just candles of my path to this point. And to this point, you say to yourself, wow, you did all of this. You allowed yourself to get in these situations. And now you struggle to love right.
Yeah.
Because of those elements.
Of those things. Yeah.
Those elements, we try to hide and say that they didn't affect you, but they really did. They did. Because they affect the way you guard yourself, the way you don't let certain access, the way you don't necessarily move when you should move. All of those things come from a residual of your history.
Right.
And so we have to be able to address it and be like, listen, okay, this happened, that happened. And the best thing I could say is happened to me as a result of all of that is I'm aware of it. Okay. Some people aren't aware. You got to be self-aware of where you are and what has happened and what has happened to you. Once you become aware of what has happened and how it played a part in your life, then you can make the corrections, which is what I do today. Make the corrections. Even doing stuff like this show, it's correcting
it.
Different things. The way I don't indulge in certain things. Don't slip and slide like I used to. Those were medicines. I'm being honest. Slipping and sliding was a medicine for me. Because it helped me avoid looking in the mirror at myself. It just gave me an option to keep ice skating in life. Just keep on ice skating and you get on around, you'll be fine. But you're ignoring the things that you need to address. And if you keep on overlooking it, all you're doing is building this monster that's hard to be dealt with. So you gotta get in, you gotta be, coherent to what's happening with yourself so that you now no longer taking that wrong medicine, but you're taking the right anti-lyphotics. It's helping you out. You get my drip, those things.
That's good, man. That's good. Let me just jump on 2 points real quick here. And one of the things that I wanted to mention, and it's something that you had already said, Charles, and that was that the pain that makes you unrecognizable, that the pain was so intense. The pain was so damaging. It left a mark on you and it changed you. And in that changing, here's the thing. So you need to be able to make a choice, and you do have a choice in terms of the path that you choose after you have experienced that trauma of breakup, after you have gone through that pain that you've gone through. There's a choice that you can make, and it's literally just two things you can choose. Either you can choose, like I've already said, to ignore that pain, or you can choose to address that pain. Now, here's the difference. The difference in ignoring and choosing to address it means that if I ignore my broken arm, I'll use the broken arm as an example. If I ignore my broken arm and leave it in the position of damage that it is in, that when that process of that bone beginning to regenerate, if my arm is not set back to its original position within my body, when it begins to ossify, when those calcifications come within that bone, it's going to heal wrong. Which means my functionality with that arm is now going to be different, but it's also going to be limited. because it's no longer in its original position. It's healing wrong, which means if my arm is like this, then that means I can't.
Yeah, it's not healing right.
It didn't heal right, which means my ability to grasp is now hindered.
Yeah.
My ability to reach is now hindered.
Yeah.
Okay. All because of the fact that I did not allow this bone, I didn't allow the doctor to reset it, put a cast on it, and allow it to heal properly.
Yeah.
That's the second choice, is that I address the trauma. I address the issue. And here's the thing though. And I know we probably don't want to hear this because we're in the age of self-healing. But in all reality, you really can't heal yourself.
Yeah.
You need somebody to come into your space and help you to heal. This is the reason why we have doctors, nurse practitioners, surgeons, therapists, counselors, things of that nature to help us to heal, because we can't heal ourselves. So when I go to the doctor, I allow that doctor to reset my arm in the position that is going to heal it and make it and bring it back to its original position.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See, some of y'all, you've ignored it. And because you've ignored it, you're out of position. You're not in the right space. Your restoration is now limited because it's not in the right position. But if I allow that doctor to reset my arm and put it back in its original position, and it heals the way it's supposed to heal, restoring my reach, restoring my ability to grab, restoring full functionality. What am I saying? What I'm saying is this. A lot of us have to address our issues. We have to address our trauma so that when we get into relationships, we have our full capacity to be able to function as a whole person in the relationship. Not a person that's just walking around bleeding all over everybody else, but I've allowed the doctor to sew me up, to stitch my wound, to stop the bleeding, so that when I step into the next relationship, I'm healed. I'm a whole person. I'm okay. I can deal with this now. You see what I'm saying? And so, yes, that pain can make you unrecognizable, but you have a choice to choose. You have a decision to make. You have to figure out whether or not, if you're going to continue to ignore it and let it continue to go on its way, and you end up with something that's limiting, okay, debilitating, or are you going to allow somebody to come in and reset it and restore it back to its original function?
So you brought up a great point when you were talking about resetting those bones. So when I was doing the narrative of this show, I put that word in there, maimed, because maimed means you're healing, but you're healing unnaturally.
Right.
So if you think about jagged edges, anything that you walk past that has a jagged edge can either snag, cut, slice, or whatever. So when we allow ourselves to heal wrong, our bones, if we're just talking physically, our bones don't heal correctly. So you may have that shoulder blade that go out too far, your knee go out to your elbow. So in the relationship part of you, there are parts of you internally that's deformed. And those deformities are harming other people. Because you haven't allowed yourself to heal correctly. What happens is, now when you meet somebody, it could be the second date, you screaming on them. What? I got time for your games. You acting all crazy. Like the person is like, well, wait, hold on. You out of control. I always say that when you find people who have trouble managing attitude, that is the number one sign of unhealed trauma and deformities. Because see, I'm not saying that we don't have issues that doesn't cause us to be emotional. I'm not saying that. But when a person is known for having a consistent attitude, it is because it's not because, we like to normalize it, like you said, and say, everybody know me, they don't pay me no mind, or everybody pays you mind, because people that try to love you walk away hurt because of your deformities. And our deformities are our responsibility to address, and put on and willingly put on that operating table to be corrected. But we can't expect people that we just meet and date to deal with all of these irregularities that cause that person trying to love you, injury.
Right.
So the point is, you know, again, this I mentioned the attitude thing because it's a very prevalent thing, even with men. When you got men that holler and are violent,
right,
they're hollering and they're violent like they are because they don't know what to do with what really pains them on the inside.
Right.
There's something hurt with them, so their only expression is aggression. And so on the female side of it, her only expression, her attitude is her claw. She thinks if she retracts her nails,
right,
you're gonna back up. And let's just be honest. Some people, depending on how much the nails come out there, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and leave this person alone.
right.
You know, as a grown up, we know people who can't manage their attitudes will eventually cause a wreck.
Yeah,
that relationship is going to go into a wreck unless somebody in that relationship can bring a balance, or that person can love you enough to say, you know what, I apologize, I went too far, I'm sorry, and I'm going to go ahead and pull back. But if their answer is always you just kind of almost want to walk away from them when they get all upset, you're in the wrong situation. Yeah. So that hurt thing, that whole broken thing is, we all know when we walk out of something and we're devastated. So, and if you're devastated, that's not the time to let your friends encourage you to go to the day party or meet somebody else.
Yeah,
because you're not ready. I don't care how fine or how handsome you are as a man. Nobody is prepared to really do life with anybody when you got a shirt full of blood and bullet holes. You need to go somewhere and be addressed and sit down for a minute. And so, you know, but we have these words out here in the world that say, oh, the best way to get over is to get under.
That's what they say. That's what I heard.
Listen, getting under something is also a way to become suffocated and smothered and die.
Wow.
You ever play around under a car in an auto garage?
Yeah.
You know when those men roll up in and out of under them cars? Many men have lost their lives because of faulty stands. And when they under those hydraulic stands and under those cars, thinking those jacks are holding them up, and them things have collapsed and crushed and killed many mechanics. Right. So being under something ain't always the answer.
Yeah,
because you might make the wrong choice to get up under the wrong person. And may not be able to come out from under them. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta be wise before we drag our bloodshed to these next places. Yes, we're great, so we feel. And yes, there's always somebody over there out there that think we're this, that, and the other. But if you know you're not in position to show up your best self, then you should probably be unselfish and don't try to go until you can. Right. So see, the selfish side of us don't want to be disregarded or don't want to feel like we can't go out here and do life over again and do love over. You absolutely can. But it will be so much easier for you to do it with the pain at your back and not at your forefront. You know what I mean?
Real talk. So let me just share 3 things that I believe can help us get through breakups and even being broken as a result of those breakups. I think the first thing that we need to do is, of course, seek help. Find a professional counselor, a therapist that can help you talk through whatever trauma you've experienced. I know that was one of the things that really did help me after my divorce, and that was actually talking to a counselor, a professional person who could help me understand why things happen the way that they happen, and to put everything into place, if you will, in a way that makes sense. I think a lot of us, we carry things around with us. We carry memories around with us, and we rehearse those memories over and over again without really understanding, okay, why am I carrying this? Why am I doing this over and over again? Talk to somebody who can help you sort those things out and put those things in some type of order. My second thing is develop a trusted community of people who you can hold yourself accountable to, people who can check on you. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? I remember going through a breakup, and I would have people who would call me and say, hey, come on, let's go out. We just going out. To get your mind, because a lot of times if you spend too much time by yourself, and I'm gonna jump back to that, but if you spend too much time by yourself, you end up focusing on the things that will take you all the way down and take you all the way out. And so you need somebody, you need a friend who will not take you to the club, but will take you to an Applebee's, you know what I'm saying? And you can have talk to. Get out of your normal state and really allow somebody to be able to pour back into your life to help you in your process of healing. The third thing is this, and I know I just said it, but I'm gonna say it like this: you need to learn how to spend time by yourself. I think that's one of the most critically important things that we need to do as people. It's interesting. Facebook is supposed to be the thing that connects us all. But in all reality, it separates.
It divides us.
It isolates us. You know what I'm saying? And so what I'm saying is this: learn how to be okay by yourself. That's something that I had to learn.
Learn to like you.
Yeah, learn to like you for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Learn how to sit with yourself and allow that healing process to take place. Often, when a doctor sees you and you have a severe wound, they'll keep you overnight to observe you, and you're by yourself most of the time. In order for that healing process to take place in your life, it has to happen. Everybody can't be involved in your healing process. You don't want everybody involved. You don't want everybody looking at your wounds. No. And so you need to be in a place where you can just, okay, let me sit in this for a minute. How do I do things differently? You know what I'm saying? So those are the things that help me at least make it to being whole and healed in my life.
Wow. I'm sure the therapist lady said, Adam, I'm going to help you get through this. I'll tell you what happened. Yes, please help me. You got up and left, nigga. Anyway, that's what happened. Ding. But anyway, no.
Wow. I thought we were going to say it for the after show. I thought we was going to say that for the after show, bro. Dang. God dog it, man. All right. Good night, everybody.
No, I'm kidding. But listen, man. Nobody. This, like I said, when it comes to people's worlds getting obliterated, like I said, you ain't gonna find no smiles on this side because, like I said, there are those I'm sure I obliterated. Right? I can be honest, and I'm sure I know I was blindsided too. So I understand it on both sides. It's the thing is, when we're on the side of the offender, a lot of times we don't have the adequate empathy because we're in it. We're the one doing the actions. So it's so weird, we'll look at the other person like something wrong with them, but we're hurting them, right? You got to grow to a place where you say, listen, it's not healthy for them. Yeah. It's not healthy for me to hurt and selfishly hurt someone in a way when you know your actions are driving this kind of pain in someone's life, right? Because at the end of the day, it's not a win-win for anybody. Right. So, like I said, if you know what it feels like to be broken or to be blindsided, that should be a good catalyst for us to learn to love and treat other people better.
That's right.
So it's not to say you got to stay everywhere where something doesn't work, but I'm just saying, if it doesn't work, have a fair conversation and get the person in the right mindset. Don't come to them after 18 months of being already almost engaged to another person. Right. Because you're not coming to fix anything or provide closure. You're just coming for notification purposes. Right. So that's the wrong conversation. So we got to stop all this slick moving around, all these, telling people, I got to go grow and do better for myself. No, you don't. You got to go over there with that person and stop lying. Anyway, so we got to be honest and just, keep it a buck out here. People can live better and have a lot more of a healthy mindset because, like you said, time, if we haven't saw anything happening nowadays, time waits for no one. True. And people ain't waiting around. People are going on, trying to do whatever they can do to find whomever they can find. Right. But like I said, by all means, have at it. Yeah. But do your best to find the person who will have your best interest in heart. Right. Not just your best assets, but your best interests.
Okay.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys for tuning in to Unique Perspectives Love Talk Radio, where we're here every Thursday at 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Today's topic was basically, how do you deal with the breakup when the breakup breaks you? Yeah. And the number one answer I could leave you with that one is you're going to hurt. It's not going to feel well, but be aware of everything that's happening in the break at all times.
Yeah.
Because guess what? If you don't listen to the doctor's instructions about how to deal with your severe break, you run the risk of re-injuring
it again. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
re-breaking it. So be aware of where the break is and how to handle it, and just follow those instructions out, because there is no way to avoid hurt. We try to avoid it. God knows I've tried the greater part of my life to avoid it, and there is no way to avoid it without sabotaging love.
Yeah. Wow.
If you think you can avoid hurt, you're a person that avoids hurt well is a person that sabotages love. Wow. Because if you love wholeheartedly, you're going to get hurt.
Yeah. True that.
All right. Hope you all enjoyed that, and I think I may say something pretty bad in the next one. But anyway, we're going over to the other side.
We figured that.
Yeah. All right, y'all. See y'all in a minute. Yo. So, man, what do you think, Adam? What do you?
Well, like you said earlier in the middle of the show, I heard that the best way to get over somebody was to get under somebody, regardless of how crushed you might be. Just
So here's the concept about under someone.
Oh Lord.
The concept of under someone is really what we really want to say is I need to go and get distracted. And while I'm distracted, I'm receiving some love in the process. Yes, I don't love this person, but they're a great candidate to carry me over to the other side. Now, the selfish part in this is almost in every scenario where we leave something broken or we leave something where we're emptied out and we run to someone else for the answer. What almost happens most of the time is people will be perfect at nursing you through. And when you get through, you tell the person, I really appreciate you for being there. It was a really rough time. I think I need some space now because I really just want to make sure I'm making the right decisions. Now, mind you, this is a year later. You done been to their mother house, all of this. But because they are now healed, see, what healed people choose differently.
Right.
Hurt people choose conveniently.
Yeah.
So you got to think about it like that. When you're hurt, you're going to choose what's convenient and what's serving to you. When you're healed, you're going to choose what's right for your path forward.
True.
At least you're going to try to anyway. So we got to think of it like that and just say, listen, I can't just be choosing and doing this and going over here and using people. That's really what's happening. The person that helps you get over, you're using them. Because it's not that they're not nice looking. It's not that they don't have a bag and money. All that is there. But how many of us know when you're hurt, you don't really care what they got. Just care about me and be in my face because I got to heal from this the best way I know how. And that is with you being my shadow. When someone's in front of you, they're your shadow. So when they're on top of you, they're your shadow. And you need this shadow while you are underground, submerged, calling yourself, getting yourself together. But again, the selfish part is when we come out on the other side, we don't see them like we saw them going in. And so somebody ends up hurt.
Yeah, true that.
That's where the hurt people comes from.
Right. Man, so just to tag on the end of that right there, the reality is the fact that, you getting under to get over. But if you really look at it for what it is, like you already said, Charles, it's self-medication. It's interesting how we can take what is supposed to be a natural thing and turn it into a drug.
Yes.
Now, I know we talk about drugs, cocaine, crack. We talk about alcohol being a drug or disease.
Yeah.
But did you realize that we can turn people into a drug and we can self-medicate ourselves with them as a result of whatever trauma that we've been in? And we use that in order to distract ourselves from the reality of where we actually are. That if I'm not careful, that rebound person that I'm using right now is a drug to my system to almost numb me to what's actually happening, so I don't have to address what's really going on. Self-medication. What's up, y'all? Really?
Hey, listen. What? And what you just to tag on that, withdrawal on that. Listen, trying to get over somebody who has gotten over you is just crazy.
Yeah, it is.
To sit there and keep on calling their phone. Yes, what do you want? I'm just checking and making sure you good.
Right.
You all right. You doing all of this stuff. And the person's like, look, I'm okay. Bye. Thanks. And that's a miserable place to be in, having these withdrawals about trying to fill a void that has now left your life.
Right.
Yeah. So
it ain't easy. It's that. Let's be real. That joint is hard. But it don't have to stay that way. You can get whole.
You know how they tell the drunk people to drive responsibly. Let's tell the sober lovers to love responsibly.
That's good, bro.
Yeah, love responsibly.
Hashtag love responsibly. Okay.
Yeah, love responsibly. When you love responsibly, it never said someone wouldn't crash into you in the car when you're driving responsibly. But when you're driving responsibly, you're able to be defensive about where you move, how you move, and what affects you. So you do the same thing in love.
Yeah.
All right.
That's good.
All right.
That's good.
All right, y'all. Well, have a great weekend, and hope everyone stays safe, and we will see you guys next week.
Next week.
All right.
See you. Love